Hey, welcome back, D-Fits. Okay, we're going to go over the movement of the snatch today. And a snatch is an extremely complex movement, so we want to make sure that we really pay attention to the mechanics that are involved with the snatch, and we pay attention to the little tips and pointers that are going to help us be able to gather momentum, be able to gather power in order to get this bar from the ground to our overhead. Now, a snatch is defined as the barbell progressively moving from the ground to an overhead position without touching any other part of your body. So when it comes to the clean, we're bringing the barbell to our chest, to our front rack, and then it's going overhead. That's a clean. Now a snatch, that would be illegal because a snatch cannot touch another part of your body. So you can do a snatch and bring it up, and your arms can still be bent, but as long as you press out, it's still legal. Now I wouldn't recommend doing anything like that. You want to have a clean snatch. However, that would be considered legal for a rep. But that's what a snatch is defined as, is bringing that barbell from the ground progressively without touching your body to the overhead rack. Okay. Now how we're going to do this is we want to start with our setup. Now I don't have any weight on the barbell right now because I want to kind of do it slowly to demonstrate everything to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring the barbell up to where our weight would typically be with Olympic plates. And so what we want to do is again, just like not like a clean actually, is we're going to have our hands spread out on the bar. This is called spreading the bar. So on a clean, we're going to have our hands a little more narrow to keep our elbows inside to come into that front rack. Because we're not doing a front rack with the snatch, we're going overhead. We're going to keep this bar spread. Okay, so we're going to go very wide with the bar. This is going to allow, for one, it's going to lessen the distance the bar has to travel to the overhead. If I'm snatching like this, it's a very far distance I have to bring from the barbell to my overhead. If I'm snatching wide, the wider I go, the less distance the barbell has to travel to get to my overhead position. Also, especially when you're doing heavy weight, you're going to, just like a clean, you're using the barbell, you're utilizing that weight to get your body under the weight. So you're not just pulling the barbell up, but you're getting under the weight. So you're going to have to squat eventually when it comes to heavy weight, or if the workout just calls for snatch squats. You're going to have to get yourself under that bar and essentially land an overhead squat. And we know that having a narrow grip is not conducive to squatting, to doing overhead squats. So we got to have that wide grip so we can get that shoulder mobility to get our shoulders back and keep that weight over our heels. Okay. So first thing, spread the bar. Now a lot of athletes go all the way to the sleeves of the bar. That's fine. I don't typically go that far. You just want to make sure that you're in a position where you can, for one, function that way, and you can also land an overhead squat that way. You can kind of distinguish between what is too far out and what is too far in, but just make sure that you're getting a good wide grip on it. Okay. So I like to be about this far out, so I'm not all the way to the sleeves as you can see, but that's good for me to do an overhead squat, and it's a good distance for me to travel. And what we're going to do is, in a clean, we talked about we keep our chests up. Any kind of Olympic lift, you're going to want to keep your chest up. So when we're deadlifting, like I've talked about before, we're walking up to the bar, we're bending over, and we're getting, because it's strictly a posterior movement, we're bending over and we're keeping our hips back but our chests forward, and then we're lifting up this way. Now with this Olympic lift, we're going to get all the way low and keep our chest up because we want to stay, our torsos want to be strict and up the whole time, and we're going to land in that upward position. All right. So when I'm down holding the bar, I'm not like this. I'm going to be like this. So my chest is up. I'm going to get these shoulders back, and now I'm in a squat position. You can see my toes are pointing just a little bit out. Now I'm in a squat position, and essentially I'm just looking up, and my torso's erect while I'm squatted down to grab that bar. So when I come up, I'm not gonna change the positioning of my torso at all. So when I come up, I'm not gonna come up like this with my hips first, and then try to bring my torso up as I bring the barbell up. I'm gonna keep everything the same position as my whole body rises. All right, so I'll give you a side view. Down, and my whole body's going to come up. So you see that nothing changed. My level changed, but the positioning of my torso and my hips and how I was bent did not change. So again, I'm down. I'm just going to come up. All right? Now when we come up, what's going to start the momentum, or what the pop we're going to get, the jump, because we're going to be jumping just like we jump in a clean. We're not going to, like in a clean, we're going to jump with the bar above our knees. Okay? So you remember from the power clean video, we bring the barbell up, and once that barbell hits our knees, that's when we jump and extend and bring the bar up to the front rack. We can't do that in a snatch because the barbell is traveling a greater distance. The barbell is not going to the front rack, it's going to the overhead rack. So if we initiated that momentum from the knees, it wouldn't make it. It wouldn't make it to the overhead position. So we have to change the position or the starting momentum from the knees. We're gonna now initiate that from the hips. Okay? So that's another reason why we're gonna have this wide grip, is because when we stand up, instead of the bar being down here, with a wide grip, the bar is going to travel more up to the hips. So I have it. Come up. Once this barbell gets right here, I'm going to kind of rest at the top of my quads, right just under my hip flexors. That's where I'm going to pop and jump. And the same thing like a clean, I'm going to extend my body, keep my arms close, shoulders internally rotated back, and my arms straight. And what's going to happen is when I jump and I point my toes and I translate that energy or that power from my heels to my toes, this barbell is going to inevitably make my arms bend and push my arms up. So I come up and I'm going to shrug my shoulders just like a clean, shrug my shoulders, and the barbell is going to come up itself. And now what I want to do is I want to make sure I get my head out of the way. I'm not going to go crazy and arch my spine, and you typically won't have enough time to do that anyway, so you're not going to have to worry about that too much. But it comes up, I'm going to get my head out of the way, and then I'm going to get under it. So this is the important part of the landing position, because if you're not landing correctly, you're not going to be able to get under the bar. Now on a lighter weight, you're not going to have to squat, but you are going to want to get in that stable position where it's basically the start of a squat. So we talk about a clean position, same thing. When you land, you're landing like this. So it's hips back, knees bent and out. So that's your clean, power clean landing position and your snatch landing position, okay? So the bar comes up, I pop my hips. When it's up there, I land in that stable position. So I'll give you a couple reps of full speed. Down. All right, so you notice I jumped and popped my hips and the bar was right here at my hips, not at my knees, okay? So it's one thing we want to distinguish and differentiate between the clean and the snatch, is where that momentum and that power begins. All right, you know, a snatch squat, essentially what we're doing is just like that clean, the squat clean, where we're going to, when the bar reaches that level of momentum, we're going to get our bodies under it and land in a squat position. Same thing with a snatch squat, or they call these full snatches. Hopefully I can get a good squat in my jeans here. Basically, down, same thing. Pop. It's going to land in a squat position. All right, so you notice I just got my body under it more. And before I got into that full rack, that overhead rack. I'm down. All right, so that's your full snatch squat. And you're going to use that when it comes to heavy weight, because you're not going to be able to, you know, when it comes to your 1 rep max, you're not going to be able to get that power snatch in without squatting and getting yourself under the bar. All right, so take those mechanics, pay attention to what you're doing, work slow, make sure that you're not starting that momentum from the ground. It won't be enough to travel the distance the barbell has to travel. Make sure you're getting that momentum from your hips, all right? Keep your weight on your heels as you're coming up. Transfer that power from your heels to your toes. Get that jump in, arms stay in, shoulders shrug, pop that weight up and land in a good landing position, okay? You should know this by now. We've talked about it with the clean, with some other movements. So just make sure you're staying consistent with these mechanics, all right? Work on this as much as you can. It's a very complex movement. You want to make sure you're doing this right, all right? All right, so until next time, this is Adam, and keep it up, get fit.